Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Friday edition of the Computer America program. Hope all of you had a nice week and getting set for the weekend. Ben and I are here. We have Bond all evening. That's right. Ralph Bond is here, joining us for both hours of the show, and he's got some great stories, and it's going to be a fun evening. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show as we begin 2 hours of Computer America. Oh, and don't forget, we have our social media winner of the week. All kinds of good stuff happening on the show tonight. Ralph, why don't you mute yourself again, and so we'll be set. We'll be all set. Thank you. Yep. See, the echo's gone.
1 minute until showtime.
Go figure. I know.
Maybe it just echoes in your head.
Yeah, no. Once he mutes himself, there's no echo. Okay. So here we go, folks. Computer America, 2 hours of fun and frolic, of prizes galore, and places that we're going to view that on the internet that you may not heard of before. We shall see.
Okay. I feel like you're referencing something, but
No.
it's been off the air for about 30 years.
Yes, it's never too old to come back.
What are you talking about?
15 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
The Computer America show is brought to you by Bell Ringers. It's newer than news when you're right there as it first debuts. Visit our sponsor's website at bellringersmedia.com. Hello and welcome into the Friday edition of the Computer America show. It's the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Friday! Once again,
It's those Fridays. You never know when they're going to pop up.
That's right, except on Friday. Another week of broadcasting
excellence in the can.
No, filed away.
Filed away.
In our digital archives in the Rock Mountain, deep below the Earth's mantle, protected for centuries to come in case we ever need to resurrect the program. It will be safe, and we can bring it back to you, our listeners. How's that?
Have we even drilled down to the mantle yet? Like, have we made a hole deep enough to hit the mantle?
Yeah, we have.
Have we?
Yeah, I think some of the oil rigs have gone.
No, well, first of all, oil definitely would not be in the mantle. It would would burn up almost instantaneously.
Well, maybe they missed it, and went further down.
It's like, no, guys, I swear, it's right here. Just keep drilling, keep drilling. Like, sir, we're about 16 miles down. It's like, no, keep going, keep going. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical that there's a man-made hole that reaches all the way down to the mantle.
Well, if they did that, wouldn't the Earth deflate like a balloon and just go?
That's how that works. Yes, all the juicy, nougaty center of the Earth would come squeezing out of that tiny hole. Yes. Yeah.
And we would fly off into space.
Yes.
Like a balloon. So probably not a good idea to do that. Wasn't that the premise, though, of Journey to the Center of the Earth?
No, that was dinosaurs.
Yeah, but the Jules Verne, they went right to the center of the Earth, according to that. This is before they understood what really is down there. They made 2 versions of it. They had the original version with James Mason. But they had, and then of course, then they had a remake with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
But you know.
Was that with him? I thought that was with someone else. But yeah, no, it was more of a comedy.
It was a comedy. Yeah, it was. Well, the original one was much more serious. Of course, the book actually, I read that as a kid, and that was it was a very. I read a lot of Jules Verne. It was very entertaining. You know. Okay. So anyhow,
Brendan Fraser. That's who it was.
Brendan Fraser, really?
Yes, that was the latest Journey to the Center of the Earth, the
okay.
2008. That was Brendan Fraser.
Who am I to argue with Google? You know, I mean,
Awesome actor, and needs to get another big, to get another big movie gig.
Yeah,
he plays a lot of slapstick, and like he was great in Monkey Bone. He was great in Dudley Do Right, but like
he's done some serious
The
films.
Mummy. But like he's never really popped though. He's always been like a B actor struggling to make it into an A-list actor.
He did a one film, and I can't remember it. I'm sure you can find it, which was
The Mummy.
It was about he goes to a school, and it was about persecution. He hides the fact that he's Jewish, and the story was about that persecution and how he kind of rose above it. Very dramatic role. It was a terrific movie. And certainly something that I had not expected to see, Brendan Fraser, but he was very good in it.
George of the Jungle as well. But yeah, no, he's
George of the Jungle.
That's not it?
No, that wasn't it.
Oh.
Close, but that wasn't it. No.
Point is, yeah.
The point is that wasn't it.
That he is not The Rock.
No, he's not The Rock. The Rock just that one was at the San Andreas. That's his latest movie, right? About
Yeah, he does action. He does like The Rock. When he said that he was transitioning from professional wrestling to movie acting, I was like, no way, Rock. That's not going to happen. But he's so charismatic in every movie that he does that I can't get enough of him. He is awesome.
I liked him in that movie where he he goes to South America and bring back the kid. What was it?
You know what? Before we continue on much longer, we have a guest who's waiting in the wings patiently. We should probably get him in.
All right, we'll get him in on the conversation. I'm sure he can help that. That's a great idea. Let's just do it. Yes, we know what that music means. It's all about Bond tonight. He's back. Bond is back, and we've got him here on today's show. Of course, we're talking about Ralph Bond. Ralph Bond is a correspondent for the Computer America Show. He's the author of Family Computer Fun, Digital Ideas Using Your Photos, Movies, and Music by Q Publishing, and co-author of the PC Dad's Guide to Becoming a Computer Smart Parent by Dell Publishing. He needs to get shorter titles for his books. Ralph was Intel's Consumer Education Manager for more than 10 years, and for nearly the past 7 years, he's been part of Autodesk's communications team. Hey, Ralph, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys, and I couldn't agree more with the comments about The Rock. The guy's just, he comes alive on screen. There's just something about him that is so appealing. I agree with you 100%. I love that kind of stuff. It's so much fun, but I have a couple of questions about movies that I'm thinking of getting from Netflix or Redbox or whatever. Ex Machina or Chappie? Do you have a recommendation for either?
Favorite movie is Chappie all time.
Is Ex Machina or Ex
Machina?
Yeah, there we go.
Machina? Oh, like the Macarena? No,
yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Is that what it is? A robot Macarena dance?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I saw it. That's kind of it starts off really intriguing and kind of freaky in the end. I mean, I have mixed emotions of that. I sort of liked it and sort of didn't like it. So I'm, one thumb up.
I haven't seen that one personally.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The effects are very good. They do they do her very, very well. But the story, it starts off strong. I'm not sure where it's going after that.
But you like Chappie?
Oh,
No.
love that
No.
movie. Love that movie.
Chappie
Maybe
makes
Ben
me
didn't
mad.
like it?
Chappie makes me mad to this day.
Now I've done it.
Yeah.
There's a point when you go see a movie, you are, as a moviegoer, supposed to give people the benefit of the doubt. You suspend your disbelief,
Yes.
and you become a good audience member. Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But there's an element that pops up, and it's the only thing that makes the whole story possible. And it's one flaw that they just hammer and hammer and hammer, and it's like, dudes, really? That's the best you can come up with? And it, some people liked it. I thought it was just too unbelievable.
You took a date to see that
Like,
movie. You liked it?
No. Wait. Yes, I did. No, but the date went fine. The movie awful, and it's like, as I think people are gonna find out tonight, we're gonna have a lot of stories that when you hear about half of these, you're gonna be like, wow, we can do that already. That's amazing. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
the future is here. And then you go and see a movie like Chappie that is set 30 years in the future, and you listen to you listen and you watch some of the things that they're trying to get you to believe in, and it's like, dudes, there's already research going on today in real life that is better than half of the explanations you give in that movie.
Mm.
I couldn't do it. So, some people liked it. You could be some people.
Well, or like Craig, I guess. We'll find out. I'll watch it. I'll be the judge of this argument.
There you go.
Jack in the chat room said he got the latest build of Windows 10 and he asked Cortana for Computer America, and here he is.
Wow.
And by the way, Jack loved Ex Machina, so.
Okay, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll be the judge of that too.
Anyway, if you have
right.
a comment or a suggestion about anything we're talking about tonight, Ralph, we'd love to hear from you. 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. Email. Oh, no email. We don't have that, but we do have a chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see it right there. It says Show Lounge/chat. Click that. If you hover over it, it'll give you the option for a full screen. But what you can do is just select it. You'll see two things happen. First of all, the little chat room will appear on the left-hand side of your screen. You put in it'll say "Wanna Chat." Put in a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there and join the chat room. We'd love to see you in there. And the other thing that will happen automatically is our live video stream will begin to take place. Because not only are we a radio talk show, we also make a live video stream available. So you can see me, you can see Ben, sometimes you can see our guests, as tonight you can see Ralph in there. And also you can see things going on in the background behind Ben. Like the stories that we'll be talking about tonight. You'll see that he has the technology to make all of that happen. Now, the other thing that you can do, because we're really an interactive show, there's so many things you can do. If you go to computeramerica.com and you'll see the Autodesk's Ralph Bond, you can click on that. You'll see some of the topics we're going to be talking about tonight. But may I suggest that if you look a little further down under tonight's topics, you'll see Cheat Notes link. And if you click that, it'll open up a Google Docs document in a separate window and a separate tab on depending on how you have your browser configured. And then you'll be able to see everything we're talking about tonight. Ralph prepares this for us and for you. You'll see the story. You'll see the images and pictures we're talking about tonight as well. And most importantly, you'll see links to, if you want to find out more about that story, Ralph has included the links to the different websites. And we highly suggest you do it. You can follow along, and it just makes things more fun and entertaining, are the cheat notes. So that's the different ways you can interact with us. And Ralph is here to interact with us. And we've got some very interesting stories starting off. A couple of them are really, really unbelievable. So let's start off with this first story. It's a backpack. Boy, this looks like a really hefty little backpack. It's becoming an industry first in wearable reality capture. Now, what is that?
Okay, so this is such a great field of endeavor. You were talking about things we're doing nowadays that you think, holy smokes, we can do this now, and then project 20, 30, 50 years into the future. Heavens knows where we're going to be. But there's this whole field of something called reality capture to do, in turn, reality computing. So let that phrase sink in, folks, because if you go out there and just do a Google on reality computing or reality capture and reality computing, you'll quickly learn about this. In essence, what it's saying is, can I, as a designer, compute or model or create based on data captured directly from the real world through digital photogrammetry, digital images, laser scans, point clouds, the resulting point clouds, and so forth? Can I bring that data together and create an accurate, as is in context of reality model? And then once I have that model, what can I do with it? The film industry can do special effects. The architecture, civil infrastructure community can help accelerate their designs, and so on. So friends, I'm telling you, if you want to get into something really just jaw-droppingly cool, go check out reality computing and reality capture as a subject matter. So with that said, big build-up here. Building Design and Construction Magazine had a great article about Leica Geosystems, that's the name of the company, coming out with a wearable reality capture, I'll call it a kind of system, a portable system. Yes, if you look at the picture in the show notes, and by the way, Craig suggested you get the show notes. I'm ordering you to get the show notes. It is a must. It's a must. You don't want me to start crying. Okay. So if you look at the show notes, though, you can see the picture of the man. This is a really remarkable thing. This has digital cameras. It has a laser scanner, and it's all coordinated through a tablet-run application and so on. So let me give you a little more of the story here on this. Again, this comes from Building Design and Construction Magazine, and it says, Leica Geosystems announced the industry's first commercially available wearable reality capture solution. So it says it combines 5 high dynamic cameras which work in a variety of light conditions and a LiDAR profiler, that's a laser scanner profiler with an ultralight and ergonomic carbon fiber chassis. So Craig, you were concerned about the bulk and the weight of this thing, but they've done everything they can to make it as light as possible. Says this mobile mapping solution. So friends, you need to have some inside geek speak when you talk to reality capture and computing people. When they say mapping, they mean, again, capturing reality through images, through laser point scans, and so forth, and then creating a model. So this mobile mapping solution creates a 3D view indoors or outdoors for engineering or professional documentation creation at the highest level of authority, or better put, fidelity, so far available for a portable solution. I'm adding a few words to the story here to give it more context. And a couple of things about this. When they talk about indoors and outdoors, in the world of architecture right now, for example, and civil infrastructure, bridges and roads and those kinds of structures, you have a lot of retrofit work going on. So in the world of architecture, you have older buildings, and instead of just demolishing them, designers and owners are saying, can we retrofit them? Can we modernize them without violating the historic value of the structure, but bring it up to code, maybe even achieve a LEED environmental standing of some sort? But sometimes the plans are gone. There are no plans left of these buildings. So you can picture a fellow like this guy shown in the picture going into an old hotel or an old office building or any older structure, older home for that matter, walking about capturing all the digital imagery and laser point clouds so that the designers can recreate a very faithful 3D model, and from there you can put it into an architectural design package and do environmental analysis and on and on and on. The same for the outside.
Why not use it in real estate? Just walk into a home, map out the whole home so people can go to the website and then see the home.
Absolutely. Now, this solution here, Craig, would be kind of overkill for something like that.
Yeah.
For what you're talking about, you could go in and just take your good high-definition digital camera, just make endless snaps, and then use programs that'll stitch that all together to create 3D walkabout models. So you can definitely do that right away for those kind of simplistic things. I'm talking about a level of sophistication with this Leica system that's going to allow you to create models that you can actually do design for real-world implementation, whether it's a bridge or a building or what have you.
Very cool. All right.
Oh, it's extremely cool. And just a few more bits about this, because, gosh, I could spend half the night just on this product and this whole area. As you can tell, I'm kind of enthusiastic about it. But this new technology is designed to enable weekly data capture efficiently and cost-effectively for changing building construction sites. So, okay, here they go. In this one sentence, they're opening up a whole other part of the story. In modern construction at the site, can you imagine how incredibly cool it would be to walk about with this kind of device and be able to give the construction managers and the owners and the project stakeholders accurate weekly recreations of the model as it were, as the structure or the building is being created. Hugely helpful for quality control and coordination and so on. There's so much more in the show notes you can read. There's all the list of the different features and so forth about light sensor, auto brightness, the tablet control, and so on. I encourage you to go and check it out.
Wouldn't this be something Autodesk would be interested in?
It is, in fact, yeah. Leica, we're good friends with Leica, and of course, the ideal thing here. See, you've opened the door. I wasn't going to go down the shameless Autodesk promo path. But of course, the data that's collected by something like this could be imported into Autodesk design software, right, to create 3D model. And let's be honest, other competing companies in our field that have construction for architecture or civil infrastructure. So, oh, guys, I'm telling you, this is such an exciting part of what's going on in what's called the architecture, engineering, construction, and civil infrastructure side of our world. It's just scary, freaky, and of course, the film industry. Now, think about this. You could deploy a fellow like this into some, I don't know, let's just make up something, maybe some old ruin in the jungle someplace or whatever, and it's going to then allow the animators to create a model from which they can then do either special effects or for animation or whatever the case may be. So the possibilities for this kind of product are endless. But this is state of the art. I mean, this is very, very accurate capture data.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And again, you can see it on the cheat notes. You can see it in the
right.
See if you can see more about this if you find this especially interesting.
And of course, like this, I always have to take it back to video games where they're video game designers they'll get inspiration from a place, or maybe they'll go to a certain school, they go to a certain alley in a certain city somewhere, and they'll draw inspiration. But of course, you can't get a complete one-to-one replica. They have to design it as best they can from being there, taking pictures, and just trying their best. But I guess technology like this, you could actually, let's say you wanted a video game, let's say Spider-Man, and you wanted to actually take scans of, the alleyways of New York City. Like, you could take, very, very accurate real measurements and easily make those settings, very, very accurate.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And okay, I can't resist. I've got to bring one more twist to this story. One more twist, and then I promise we'll go on. So I talked about how today sophisticated, in this case a portable system, but there's all kinds of tripod-mounted laser scanners, aerial deployed laser scanners, aerial deployed digital photogrammetry devices, right, guys? We're all familiar with that. But I want you to think about civil infrastructure for a second. I want you to think about city planning for a moment. Check this out. You can take all that kind of reality capture data, and then you can combine it with public records information, building information, and so forth, and create super smart city-scale models that can help city planners see, well, what would be the impact if we had a railway station here? And what it's a very mind-boggling kind of thing, but it's happening now. It's that kind of exciting technology that's part of the whole reality capture and reality computing world that I just gave you a little introduction to. So I encourage you, if you're interested, I tell you, if you're a geek, you're going to just love it.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, what I want to do, Ralph, is I want to skip over story 2. We're going to come back to it, but I want to go to 3 because this is just, to me, when I read this, I went, no way. Okay. Now, if you listen to the show, that Ralph likes to do a lot of things on 3D printers, and we've talked about 3D printers and the different material. We talked about 3D printers that will print actually a car. We talked about that. They're going to be 3D printing cars. They are 3D printing homes and houses, and actually, in some cases, mansions. They're 3D printing everything, a lot. When I read this story, I went, this is way cool. Imagine yourself coming over, in the forest somewhere, and you come to a body of water, and there's land on the other side, and you reach in and you pull out a little 3D robot, and the little 3D robot begins to print a steel bridge in mid-air, no less, and it begins to, and when it's done, you have a bridge that's suddenly temporary. I mean, it's a permanent steel bridge. And that I just blew this away. This blew me away. It's a robot that can 3D print a steel bridge in midair. Tell us about this.
Oh gosh, yes, and again, shameless Autodesk plug warning alert. All right, because it just so happens that we at Autodesk are helping this designer with some of the software technology and so on. But with that said, this story comes from Fast Company. This story got picked up all over the world, fellas, just for the very reasons, Craig, you described, because people just went, what? Now, it hasn't been actually done yet, but it appears to be very feasible, and they're on their way to actually doing this. So again, Fast Company, story by John Brownlee. The title of the story was, "This robot can 3D print a steel bridge in mid-air." Now, you really, friends, you must go get the show notes to see the picture that's included here. Now, this is a Photoshop picture here. It's proof of concept kind of thing. He's actually going to do a bridge over a fairly narrow canal in a city in the Netherlands. But with that said, let me get into the story. It says here, in 2017, so that's a ways off, Dutch designer, fellow from the Netherlands, Joris Laarman, will wheel a robot to the brink of a canal in Amsterdam. He'll hit an on button and he'll walk away. And when he comes back 2 months later, the Netherlands will have a new one-of-a-kind bridge 3D printed in a steel arc over the canal waters. Now, this isn't some proof of concept either. When it's done, it will be as strong as any other bridge. People will be able to walk back and forth over it for decades.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's great. He says, to make his dream a reality, Laarman, the fellow in the Netherlands, has created a new research and development company called MX3D. Google that immediately. It's so interesting. See the videos too, folks. You got to see it. Which specializes in building, now here you go, get ready for it, specializes in building 6-axis robots that can 3D print metal and resin in mid-air. Wow. The technology allows for large-scale objects like infrastructure, that's inside speak for bridges and that sort of thing, to be printed in the exact spot where they'll live, which has radical implications for the construction industry and opens up a wealth of new design possibilities. The finished bridge will be about 24 feet long, so it's 2017, we're a ways off. It's not a monumental, huge thing, 24 feet, but will support normal Amsterdam foot traffic and feature a beautiful, intricate design that looks far more handcrafted than the detailing on most bridges, right? Most bridges look like glorified erector sets, right?
Right.
Most 3D printers use resin or plastic to construct objects. MX3D's, the company, their bridge will be made of a new steel composite that the University of Delft, I think that's how it's pronounced, DELF, Delft, I think it is, which is in the Netherlands, created. So again, they made from a new steel composite they created. As strong as regular steel, it can be, I love this, dolloped out by the 3D printer drop by drop. Boop, boop, boop. The result, a 3D printed bridge as strong as any other, inventor Laarman says. Now, Laarman isn't going to doing this alone. He turned to architecture and engineering software company, drumroll please, Autodesk, to help give MX3D some much-needed smarts. And then it talks about our head of our research labs at Autodesk, Maurice Conti, said Autodesk wanted to work with MX3D. Gee, guess why? Because it would help tackle other problems inherent to 3D printing, meaning that bit about printing, in midair, right? Oh,
I'm looking at it.
Got to check it out.
The video that just Ben showed again, and you should play it again, Ben. You see it there. It's in midair, and it's actually printing a steel bridge while the robot.
Yeah.
The robot's not floating in midair. The robot is basically on the bridge, the steel bridge, so it can
right.
Right. And as it moves forward, it continues to create the bridge, but it's basically it's right out there at the edge of it, creating new bridge as it continues to move forward.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's an amazing concept, and
being able to build, to kind of get this steel like composite to extrude and stay how they have form, I think is part of it. But I think the full automation of it, I think, is the really impressive part.
Oh, it is. It is, Ben. As Andy Grove used to say, we are at a strategic inflection point in history. And, that was his phrase, strategic inflection point, to say, time out, pay attention. This is something profound. And I think in the world of construction and 3D printing, think of how now we're thinking of 3D printing now in a very interesting and expanded way, outside of the box, literally, right outside of the little printing boxes.
Yeah.
And that video is great, isn't it, guys? I mean, friends, check it out. This is a aha moment.
I mean, when you see the bridge, it's suspended over this body of water, and
Right.
this little robot printing its way,
Yeah.
right
And of
along.
course, you can upscale robots. They could be made someday enormous, right? And who knows what they could be able to do. I mean, the whole idea. Another thing that's really kind of fun to think about, and it will be interesting over time to see how large a bridge they could do. But we just finished a bridge here in Portland, Oregon, a new one for our rapid transit train and all this good stuff. And gosh, it's disruptive. You have to go out in the middle of the river and put on pilings and do all this sort of stuff. Now, I'm not saying you wouldn't have to do that, but imagine if you could have robots just kind of start at one end. What if you had a set of robots that are going to kind of meet in the middle, right? Wow. It could make it a much less disruptive process for river traffic and so forth, too. So fun things to think about.
All right, we're listening to the Computer America Show. Ralph Bond is here with us. We're talking about this amazing 3D printed robot that prints steel bridges in midair. We've got a lot more incredible stories coming up. We've got a News Tisbold review from Marty Winston coming on as well. We'll be right back with lots more. You're listening to the Computer America Show.
Sometimes, disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes, disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
I'm waiting. Everybody quiet down now. That's better. It's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time the Kidda Remote Link. This message is from your house. I'm on fire. That is, in a nutshell, the concept behind the new Kidda Remote Link. A roughly cubical, fitting under 2.5 inches in each direction plug-in that listens for smoke or CO alarms, and when it hears them, sends notification. The setup happens through its app on a handset that's on the same Wi-Fi, but not 5 gigahertz, the same Wi-Fi net as the monitor. The app collects a login, a password, and location contact info for you, the space you're monitoring, and anybody else you want to notify in case of trouble. Before setup is done, you push the test button on your most distant smoke or CO alarm to confirm that it can be detected. Bottom line, while it is not intended to replace an alarm system to notify first responders, a Kidder remote link is one way when you're away to let neighbors and others know that your place needs attention. It's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. Ralph Bond is going to be here with us both hours tonight. And and by the way, that was News and Bulletin Review by Marty Winston. That'll be the last time you'll be hearing that particular one. Should mention that. It's not going to be gone forever.
Well, Ralph was really getting into the music too. Did you know?
Oh, I bet. Very catchy.
Or having an episode. I mean,
But no, that's the last time you hear that one. We'll have one more in the second hour, but we'll have two brand new ones starting Monday.
Yes. All right.
So yeah, keep an eye out for those. Getting back to Ralph Bond and all these great stories, we were just about to wrap up the robots that could print a 3D. Robots that can 3D print a steel bridge in mid-air over, all by itself, which I think is one of the coolest parts. Obviously, this is done by a designer, so I'm thinking this is more art right now than it is an actual construction thing. But I mean, this is of course done, by an artist. But then eventually, one day, I mean, we just did a story I think last month. About a 3D printing machine that could 3D print houses, like on the spot. So,
Well, in fact, I've got a story that's kind of related to that coming up here in a bit. But you're right. I mean, this is advanced stuff, but they think it's absolutely doable. And hopefully, in 2017, Mr. Larman will go out and see if this can really work. And I was just thinking, too, guys, during the break. Imagine someday an industry where you could come and build, come to a park or someone's backyard and build a groovy gazebo thing or something. You just program the robot, put it in place, and come back in a week or two or whatever, and there you've got your arbor or whatever you want, right? I mean, it could be very cool.
I mean, seems like the kind of thing that you rent from Home Depot.
Yeah, no
That's
lunch. No lunch breaks required. I mean, it just works 24 hours, 24/7. Yeah. Yep. You rent it from Home Depot. You put in the thing you want, and that does it. We're kidding about it, but it could very well happen. It's very possible. I mean, the first ones. I mean, eventually they'll become more commonplace, and people will just, and do it.
And you mentioned artists. To think about artists, sculptors, maybe using this kind of thing to create aesthetic objects that don't have utility, but they're just very interesting sculptures. They're suddenly the chains are broken away on creativity. It's wonderful.
Yeah. No, it's a whole world of possibilities, no question about it. And thanks for bringing that story to our attention. Very different and very, very unique. Again, okay, so now we're going to go back up to story 2. And for any of those you've heard of Montezuma's Revenge, going to, are going to.
That's the guy that gave everyone gold, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the guy that they stole the gold from. And the myth is he punished the Europeans eternally for doing them wrong with Montezuma's Revenge.
Basically, when you go to a country and you drink the water or eat the food and your system is not up to it, it can have dire consequences. So evidently DARPA wants to do something about this, and they want to engineer fake bacteria to patrol the human gut.
I mean, what part of that title does not immediately make you go, what? DARPA. I gotta know. DARPA, fake bacteria, patrol, and human guts. Those are the words that just went, bing! That's what I gotta find out.
It's going to be for soldiers or something initially, right?
Well, yeah. So here's the scoop. It's a story from CNET by Michael Franco, and of course, again, I couldn't resist. And it says here, as any tourist who's ever gotten a case of the traveler's tummy which is a very gentle way of referring to Montezuma's revenge, knows to foreign countries can sometimes be a little tough on the digestive system. Oh, yes. But tourists aren't the only ones who visit foreign lands. Members of the military do as well. That
visit.
Visit. Yeah, you know what? Visit is the wrong word. Oh, God. Unbelievable.
Let's go visit
Anyway.
that land.
Well, I visited Afghanistan 3 tours in a row. Not me, I'm kidding. But anyway, that's why the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, that's what DARPA stands for, has given the Weiss Institute $4.7 million to develop a squadron of genetically engineered bacteria that will be able to identify, report on, and attack harmful bugs in our gastrointestinal tracts. Sort of like super Alka-Seltzer or something, huh? Researchers at the Institute, an alliance between various Harvard schools, plus other universities and medical centers, will be using the fund to create synthetic bacteria that will be able to detect inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract. The bacteria, by the way, will be taken in pill form. Now, once the engineered bacteria detects inflammation, it will be designed to change color and pass out of the body. I hope everyone's already had their dinner a few hours ago. This is not pleasant conversation.
Defending your stomach by burning your stomach.
Yeah. So now we've come to the big exciting part where it's passing out of your body. So at that point, doctors could easily identify issues based on the color of the patient's stool. In addition, the bacteria will be designed to attack harmful invaders in the system by emitting a specific toxin to kill bad bugs while not harming the rest of the colon. Now, this is where your bells should be going off about medical, right? Because researchers are worried about the effects genetically engineered bacteria could have on the environment once they pass out of your human digestive tract, they will be designed to only be activated by the chemistry that's found in our gut. Wow. Okay, so there's layers and layers of interesting stuff going on here, but I certainly think there's some fantastic medical possibilities here with this. It's gross and kind of disgusting, but fascinating all at the same time. And yes, I guess we'll just have to, look at the colors of our output.
Let's see. Patient 331, your stool is purple with green polka dots.
It's we are, after all, human. These things happen, and see
what poop happens? Yes, poop does happen.
Yes, it does, and color evidently too. So, but
wait a minute. This could make a whole new field of fashion. Designer poop. You can have poop bling.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Engineered bacteria.
But it serves a purpose. The color serves a purpose.
Oh, yes.
It all serves a purpose. And evidently, when are they no reference to when they're going to actually decide?
Well,
no.
So
the little feature didn't. Yeah.
Oh. But hey, those DARPA guys are wild and crazy, and so they would come up with something.
Well, yeah, it's just what, like, DARPA is either next year or never.
20 years.
Yeah,
or never.
DARPA does so many cool things that if even half their stuff comes to fruition, then it's going to be a very, very cool future. But this one actually seems doable.
Oh, I think so. I think it's another example of these synthetically created bacteria and viruses and so forth that's going on in the medical field is scary and fascinating and promising all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this next story 4 is kind of cute and interesting.
Yeah.
This is a little something called Wet Wheels, and Hot Wheels, and but Wet Wheels. Okay, this is a toy car that's powered by evaporating water. This is very cool.
Yeah, pretty fun. Also from CNET, story by Danny Culliger, and you can see the little image there. It's a little hard to make it out, but the story is when you hear the terms renewable energy or alternative energy. Images of wind farms, biofuels, or Ed Bagley Jr. on a solar-powered golf cart might come to your mind, of course.
He's been on the show a couple of times, Ed Begley Jr.
Nice fellow.
Yeah, fascinating character. And then it says, while terms like evaporation and evaporated water might not make your list, a new study from New York's Columbia University could help push them into the alternative energy source column. Evaporated water, interesting, huh? Using evaporated water, a Columbia team created engines that can power small devices like a toy car and a flashing LED lamp. Now, these rudimentary engines generate rotary and piston-like linear motion using specially designed, wait for it, this is great, wait for this, here we go, generate rotary and piston-like linear motion using specially designed, biologically based artificial muscles. What? Responsive to moisture fluctuations, according to an abstract for a study on the work published June the 16th in the Journal of Nature Communications. Biologically based artificial muscles. You gotta love this. That's just freaking me out. I need more muscles. Can I get some?
Maybe. You're gonna have powered by water vapor, though, Ralph.
That's it. Well, yeah. And then this goes on to say the scientists were inspired to make evaporation-powered devices thanks to a spore found in soil bacteria that reacts to moisture by expanding and contracting, according to a video released by Columbia University in conjunction with the study. Now, in my show notes, friends, you've got the link to the YouTube video, and it's fascinating. What? Biologically based artificial muscles, you've got to love it. I can see the video playing there that Ben's got going for us.
Well, the interesting thing is, it's like this. I just saw there's a little steam engine that's powered by the heat of your hand. You put it on your hand, and it will actually start running, and it's the heat of your hand that actually causes it to operate. I was actually thinking of getting one. It looks very, very cool.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, this past week I was at the home offices for Autodesk in San Francisco. We had a guest speaker, a very high-ranking top executive from General Electric, right? Big company. And they were showing a clip of the comedian Jimmy Fallon, his late-night show, and he had a little segment with a teenage girl from British Columbia, a student who won a science contest activity, and she had a flashlight, Craig, that used the warmth of her hand. It was the tube of the flashlight was an open air thing, and I can't remember what the material was, and she had an LED bulb, and just holding it, she didn't have to shake it, or just holding it in her hand generated energy to light the bulb. Amazing.
Wow. Very cool.
I remember seeing that one. Like it wasn't like the brightness of the sun bright, but if you're stranded somewhere without any source of light, it's going to be enough for you to read something.
Right. Emergency. You see in the video here, you're showing the evaporative little engine, as it were. Yeah, isn't that great? I love this stuff. I love this crazy science stuff.
Well, after all, we are a computer and technology show, so
that's right.
And speaking of more technology, here's an interesting story. We're back to our 3D robots again.
Yeah.
Here's one that they're saying a robot that will build a home in 2 days.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about being at as Andy would say, a strategic inflection point. In the world of construction and so forth, here it comes, people. Here it comes. This is a story from Geek.com. Meredith Placo is the author. Habitat for Robo-Humanity, kind of a tongue-in-cheek title. Robot can build a home in 2 days. Now, of course, wink and nod. What does build a home in 2 days actually mean? But it's still very compelling if you see the animation rendering showing what this robot will look like as it's laying down bricks. But here's the story. She says, check out this must-see video animation. I've got the link there for you in the show notes. Now, her story says, a company out of Perth, Australia. By the way, the Australians are very much on the cutting edge of advanced construction technology. Salute to our friends down under. They are really on a roll down there. So it says a company out of Perth, Australia has built a robot they claim can build a house in 2 days. Mark Pivick is the man behind this piece of machinery and founder of Fast Brick Robotics. After 10 years and $7 million, the project is finally seeing the light of day. Pivot has named his robot Hadrian. And if you're an historian, that's really fun, because after the wall that the Emperor Hadrian had built in northern Britain, to keep the crazy Scots out, some of my ancestors, just keep those wild and crazy guys from bothering them, they finally gave up and built, like, I think a 72-mile-long wall and ditch and trench. Anywho, the specs claim it can lay up to 1,000 bricks per hour and 24 hours straight. According to those numbers, Pivot says it can finish a house in just 2 days. Now, watching the concept video of how it all works is pretty wild. And thanks, Ben, you've got the video going, which is great. It shows a giant crane-like arm sending bricks down a chute and placing them directly on top of another, rotating to complete not just the outer wall, but inner structure of the computer-generated building as well. So how does this all work? First, the layout of the house is created in a 3D computer program, computer-aided design, of course, which then does all the tricky math. Now, pay close attention to this part. This is good. Which then does all the tricky math to figure out what size to cut the bricks and where to place them before you even hit the go button on the machine. It gets even better, guys. A laser-guided system identifies where bricks need to be placed, and a 90-foot telescopic boom delivers the mortar and places the bricks according to the pre-sequenced layout. The robot is able to measure, check for accuracy within 0.5 millimeters accuracy in all access, regardless of dynamic interfaces, according to the company's website. And even cut out spaces, here's where it gets really compelling, even cut out spaces for electrical and other wiring and plumbing needs. So I think when they mean build a house in 2 days, they mean build the essential superstructure, I guess you could call it, right? And then you're going to have to go in there and plumb the Romex for the electrical and the pipes or the plumbing, right, and HVAC and yucky other things like that. But oh my Lord, guys, we are again, keep quoting Andy, at strategic inflection point, this time in the construction industry, this time in a form of robotics. I think you can actually call this a kind of form of 3D printing, if you will, but in this case of a building. Wow, wouldn't you just love to go on site and see something like this in action? It would just blow my mind. I would love it.
Now, does Autodesk know about something like this? I mean,
yeah, definitely, guys. I mean, I try to be sparing in my shameless plugs for Autodesk, but no, I mean, when they mention CAD software, of course, guys like this are using software either from us or one of our competitors, of course, and it's one of the things that's really fueling the design software community nowadays is a fabrication of all kinds, both in architecture and in construction. And as you guys know, the division that I serve at Autodesk is architecture, engineering, construction, and civil infrastructure. So, I am prejudiced. I'm going to bring some stories that come from my world, like self-healing concrete and stuff like that. I can't resist. I can't help myself. But I think they're genuinely fascinating stories and really cool stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is we talk about all the time. This is disruptive technology. Like this this is technology that is going to, compete head-on with thousands of hours of thousands of man-hours of labor, tons and tons of building equipment. Like for normal houses, like even if you build it all concrete by hand and stuff like that, you still have to put up wood scaffolding to hold everything up and build around a wood frame. This is one robot going at it and just doing it all again. What was it? 0.5 millimeters.
Oh, they actually 0.5. What was it? Yeah, 0.5 millimeters. I think. Yeah. Yes, that's correct. 0.5 in all access.
Yeah.
Access, which is really remarkable. Now, look, as always with the argument with robots, this goes back to when I was a very little kid. Everybody was terrified that computers and robots were going to eliminate jobs for people, and I get that, and I'm not going to discount the fact that someone who's a bricklayer or whatever could be pretty upset by a story like this, and I don't discount the human impact of technologies like this. I could only hope that there'd be other activities supervising on site or other things that our construction professionals could be involved with. Should machines like this reduce or eliminate the need for some of the technicians that we have now? So I do want to be sensitive to that. It's fascinating from a technology and engineering point of view, computer software, electromechanical point of view. My father was a mechanical engineer, so I was brought up to just breathe this stuff. I get all that, but I also do want to be sensitive to the fact that this can be pretty scary for some people who are field construction workers. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You think your dad would have been amazed by some of these stories?
Oh, Craig, I can't even begin to imagine what he would have thought of some of this stuff. Just would have melted his mind. I mean, I'm blown away. And we're living it right now, and I still can't believe it's true. It's just...
Yeah, well, I'm sure in his lifetime he saw things that, when he started to when he retired.
Yeah,
he saw things
right.
that, that were amazing.
Oh, without question. Yeah. And then my grandfather, I may have mentioned, worked with Dr. Shockley and Brandine at Bell Labs on the transistor, and he was born in 1892, I think he was born. So what he saw in his life as a scientist was astonishing, guys, just astonishing. And then what my father saw and all of it, now I just feel so privileged to be able to look at these stories and think about where are we going. Holy smokers. Yeah. Hope good place. One thing, by the way, this kind of going back to this story about the robot that can build a house in 2 days, this could be extremely helpful for terribly impoverished parts of the world where they don't have the skilled labor, they don't have the resources. Well, you could fly in the materials, you could fly in the robots, you could bring these things in and build serviceable housing for desperately poor folks in, I don't know, Africa or some other parts of the world where they really need help, or after a terrible natural disaster of some kind, being able to come in and quickly create clean and safe housing for people. There's some really pretty, and then someday, hey, like Elon Musk, he thinks we'll be on Mars. Hey, you could have these guys up there on Mars cranking out buildings too. So who knows?
Yes, there's something to be said for being sensitive to jobs and all that kind of thing. But the implications of this, it's awesome to think that you no longer have to have a person who has to sit there, supervise, manage, lay that brick, do that kind of thing. And my favorite thing that you said was in places where they don't have skills to lay bricks.
Right.
Like no one there uses bricks. So this is new technology altogether. Having this and then just giving everyone, even if it's a 500 square foot house, just giving people access to that kind of shelter anywhere is awesome.
Right. Oh, combine that with some of these magnificent water purification efforts around the world. If you could coordinate all this together, and just imagine someday being able to fly in entire super construction teams, I guess you could say, robotics and all this sort of thing, and maybe make the bricks and so forth out of local materials. There's a lot of research going on. What was the name of the company? I can't remember now, but they simulated making bricks out of moon dust, out of moon dirt, to validate the concept of being able to build structures on the moon by taking the moon's dirt and turning it into a material that could be turned into building bricks. So there's some great stuff. If you think construction is boring, young man or young woman, think again. But construction is a future for technology that's just unbelievably cool. If you just give it a chance, check it out and learn.
Yeah, it's stuff like this that are going to solve the problems. Like it's not all about it's not all about making everything work with what we have today. It's new technologies are going to solve a lot of the problems that we can't solve right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, gosh, yeah. This meeting that I was at this week in San Francisco at Autodesk, one of the technologists was telling us about was showing us a film in China. I wish I could remember what province it was, but in China where they using off-site prefab building technologies and then bringing the materials and computer guided and all blah 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 blah. They put up a 30-story apartment building, 30 stories in, I think, what was it? A couple of weeks or something. It was some fantastically short amount of time. Unbelievable. And you have to see the video. I'll try to remember that. Maybe next show we can talk about it. It was just the watch that video is just time-lapse video blows your mind.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Well, we probably we can I guess start one of the next stories, but I don't think we have time to.
Well,
really-
since we have like a minute, Phil, this kind of technology, the sort that we were just talking about, where robots build like the scaffolding and everything, that
Right.
mixed with the thing that they're doing in China now, which is very impressive, is prefabrication, where they essentially make as much as they can off-site, and then
Yes.
they'll bring it in later and put it all together like giant pieces. So prefabrication mixed with automated building, you can put up structures incredibly fast. There was some kind of skyscraper in China they put together in like a couple weeks too. I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, you're right. And another really interesting thing in the world of prefab, offsite, deliver onsite, and use computers to do what I call the choreography. The geeks call it 4D. The choreography of putting all the pieces together, so it's very super hyper efficient. Part of what's going on too is research in biological or biomass sources for making the building materials, and/or clever advanced recycling techniques, so we can take some of our plastic waste, some of our other kinds of waste, and turn it into a material that in turn can become a building material and play a role in this whole process, combined with computer-aided design, computer-aided choreography, robotics, and on and on. It's just
Very cool.
It's awesome.
All right, we're at the top of the hour, and we got lots more. Ralph Bond continues on with us for the next hour. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We're going to be right back momentarily. Don't go anywhere. This is Computer America.
This is about a cool new way to be the first to hear about new, completely unannounced products or services. The Monday through Friday Newer Than News nationwide Bell Ringers Radio Hour starts August 31st. 4 times on each show, a team of 3 pros, well, 2 pros and me, take the time to tell you all about some new something. That happens over so many stations that more than 50 million people will be able to tune it in. And that same day, releases about that debut go out on 3 major news wires to reach traditional, online, and social media, plus full coverage on Slash Gear and some other goodies. Here's what we'd like to ask of you now. At the company you work for or the companies you work with, chances are that the top marketing people in top brass don't yet know about Bell Ringers. Please, just tell them to check out bellringersmedia.com. That's BELLRINGERSMEDIA.com. But hurry, September segments are booking now.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@ComputerAmerica.com.
Hello, and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on with Ralph Bond joining us here for both hours of the show. Again, we encourage you to download the cheat notes, and you can read along with us. And as we discuss the different things, really interesting things. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have our social media winner of the week for the brand new Logitech MX Anywhere 2 wireless mouse. Again, gorgeous mouse, valued at $80. This mouse does things that I've never seen in any other mouse, and it's got some really great features. It's brand new, and it's just being introduced by Logitech. We're going to give away one of those every single Friday. Head over to ComputerAmerica.com, go to our social media contests. It's right there under the Interact, and register. Go to Facebook and like our Facebook page. You'll have one entry from now on every Friday. You only have to do it once. If you go to the YouTube page and you register to watch our YouTube feed, now you'll have 2 entries every single week. So you only have to do it once. And just that way, you go to all the different social media forums that we support, and if you register or sign up for it, you'll have those entries working for you every single week. Right now, again, the MX Anywhere 2 wireless mouse from Logitech, valued at $80. We'll give one away at the bottom of the hour. So, in the meantime, Ralph, We're talking about these different stories that you're doing, and this next story 6 is Sharp's free-form display make bezels super thin and screens into any shape. This is a really strange-looking screen. What is it?
Yeah. This is another one of these, right on the edge, no pun intended, stories here. This comes from Gizmodo, a story by Jamie Conliffe, and the image, if you have the show notes. Now, Craig encouraged you to get the show notes. I am ordering you to get the show notes. Let's be very clear, please, because you're missing out. If you're not seeing the pictures, you're missing out, and the links. Everything's there for you. Anyway, in the picture, guys, what they're showing is a concept of a shaped display for a possible future automobile application, right? That's what you're seeing. So in the story, it's kind of fun. The author says, rectangular screens are so square. Well, technically not, but I'm not going to worry about that. Which is presumably why Sharp has announced a new technology called free-form display that could allow screens to come in any shape and reduce bezel size to almost 0. Now, usually a lot of display circuitry sits in the bezel of a screen, which forces manufacturers to use very conventional shapes, rectangles usually, but occasionally circles if they're daring. But Sharp's new solution spreads circuitry usually found at the edge across the whole display, allowing both very slim bezels and crazy shapes too. The company is showing off, for instance, a free-form display that could find its way into cars, a sleek dash screen that needs no cowling above it, but display everything in 3 simple circular areas, and that's what's shown in the picture. But, and she's so right to point this out, the possibilities are endless. Think about wearables with more natural screen shapes, displays that blend in a little more around the house, or simply thin tablets with a screen that reaches right to the edge, or maybe even a weirdly shaped smartphone if someone is crazy enough to try it. Oh, there's always somebody crazy enough. Sure. Software, of course, is typically designed for rectangular screens, so the bezel-free route seems most appealing, but to differentiate products or to allow such displays to be used in more unconventional situations, it could just work. There's currently no word on when or where we might first see these panels appear, though, she concludes sadly. So, but it is interesting. It's R&D from Sharp, and pretty interesting to stop and think about. Okay, this could really bring displays into different parts of our lives, as she alludes to in the article, like automobiles and clothing too. I'm thinking, and so on and so forth. All kinds of cool stuff.
Yes, it does. It's interesting how they show you all the different ones there.
Oh yeah, and by the way, guys, during the commercial break, I dug up, and Ben confirmed too, the little bit, and I embedded the link for the Chinese build a 57-story skyscraper in 19 days. And you can go see the time-lapse video, friends. There it is. Yeah. Ben's playing it. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this was a hotel that they had set up in 19 days and ready for business. Like 0 days, they had it all prepped and ready to go, and then 19 days later, it was done, and they were open, and they were, they should have been good and ready for business. That's just crazy to think. In less than 3 weeks, they had a 57-story skyscraper done.
Well, what technology were they using to build it? I mean,
I'm sure it was a ton of. Now, what they're not factoring in on the days to make it is probably the many days to prefab the components.
Oh yeah,
off-site. Right, guys? I mean, I'm assuming that's what's going on here. I'd be honest, I haven't read the article, but I heard about it. I saw this video, and I just haven't had a chance to dive into it. But that's my guess now. So they're talking about 19 days on-site assembly, but you've got to factor in X number of days or whatever to create all the materials.
The story that I remember reading about this a while ago was they actually had construction workers, carry in beds that were shrink wrapped. And these beds were made with, sheets on them, blankets on them, pillows and pillowcases on them. The construction workers set up every desk, and all the wiring was in giant cords. Everything that could have been prefabricated was.
Well, you just and it's kind of a stunt in a way, but again, I'm thinking back on what I said earlier about what happens when you have a terrible natural disaster hit a city
Mhm.
or anywhere. What if you could build a 57-story hospital, lickety split,
Oh, yeah.
just by having the materials ready? Ship them in, fly them in. I don't discount this is a little bit of a fantasy maybe, but it doesn't have to be 57 stories. What if you get a 10-story hospital, right? And be able to put that thing together that quickly and be able to help and service people in a devastated area, typhoon or God
Yeah.
knows what,
Just-
that sort of thing is fascinating.
Yeah, just have all the components sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and then
Right.
just have the building, made to made just like that, and then just ship in all the equipment that's ready to go and ready to install.
Right.
And at that point, it's possible. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, really, really interesting. Really interesting.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get away from the building things. I'm going to skip down to story 9.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
What?
Come on, really? You're gonna skip over the Hyperloop?
I'm going to come back to it, but I'm just trying to mix it up a little bit here. And
Yeah, we need to mix it up.
we're doing these
I'm with Craig.
these grandiose things, and I want to get something a little bit more, to us. And story 9 it's really cool. It's very simple, very easy, but it's an interesting concept. It's called the lean chair, and as opposed to the fat chair. This you have to be lean.
Yeah, that's it.
The lean chair makes stand against sitting or standing. You're kind of leaning. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Now tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The moment I saw the picture with the story, I thought, okay. I thought at first maybe it was kind of a spoof or a joke. Again, folks, if you have the show notes, you know what we're watching.
Mhm.
If you don't, you can see Ben's,
Mhm.
image there. That helps, but get the show notes. Okay, so this comes from gizmag.com, story by Stu Robarts. Title is Lean Chair, so that's run together as one word, makes a stand against sitting or standing. And the picture is really good. It says lean chair takes around 25% of the weight off the user's legs compared to standing. Now, in contemporary office environments, a lot of people are opting for these stand-up desk deals, or if you're really a cool company, you have the desks that can be raised up when you feel
Yes.
like you need to stand up for a while, and then when you want to go back down, it has memory settings to bring the desk back height that's good for you to work when you're seated and yuckity yuckity. So this is kind of part of that whole ergonomics, healthy posture culture that's going on in modern offices, and that's where this fits into as a product. So the story says sitting for long periods, it turns out, is not good for your health. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, standing has its own problems, like being uncomfortable. Yeah, that's true. The lean chair offers a middle ground between the two, right? Reducing the risks associated with sitting and taking some of the standing weight off your legs. The wrap, I look at that picture, guys, I have to say this, I think I'd go to sleep. I'd probably just nod off. It looks pretty comfortable. Anyway, the rap sheet for sitting is worth recounting. As well as being bad for your muscles, neck, back, and circulation, it also increases the chances of cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. I'm not quite sure how it has a play in cancer, but oh well. Standing desks, I can get the heart disease and diabetes. Anyway, I digress. Standing desks are the obvious solution for this, and ideas such as the standing task chair have been devised to make standing for long periods of time more manageable for people. But designed by software developer Wayne Yeager, the lean chair offers another approach. It provides a cushioned body support with a slight backwards inclination against which the user can lean and a tilted footrest to support them. That footrest, I can tell you right now, I've been in some of these zero-gravity reclining chairs and stuff. That's the key. It's that footrest, by the way. Let's see. Right. A Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign is underway for the lean chair. At the time of the writing, which was a few weeks ago, by the way, individuals who pledge $255 US will receive one of the units, assuming it all goes to plan with the production and rollout. Shipping is expected about November of this year. So, hats off to someone trying to think about, the oldest thing in the world, chairs or standing up bar stools or any of these things. What other thing could you come up with? And I will salute them for coming up with something different.
Yeah, I You can see this. You walk into a bar and just instead of sitting down, you kind of lean into the bar.
Oh, that's Craig. That is an excellent application for this. This could really be useful if you're into like a whiskey bar and you're really putting down the alcohol. You're right. You're absolutely correct.
It's like, Craig, you're drinking too much.
Wait.
You can stand. Go lean. Go.
Wait a minute,
lean.
guys. I just thought of it. Just was on a flight last night.
Oh yeah.
Here, airline corporations, you want to ram more sausages in the pack? Row after row of these. There it is. Right? You can get probably twice as many bodies into that cabin with this. If you just
that's going to pass safety.
Put massaging things in here, shiatsu, whatever, maybe.
As a little detour, a little side note, some airline, I forget which one, it's an obscure one, they patented a new seating chart kind of deal, like a new sitting scheme to pack more people in.
Oh God!
And they called it the honeycomb scheme,
Oh,
where you would have 3 people sitting, facing towards the back of the plane, and then you would sandwich, essentially shoulder to shoulder, 2 people facing the other way, so that you'd be kind of overlapping, but think of like a honeycomb, and like it would be the most uncomfortable couple of hours you ever spend on a plane, trying not to look at 2 people looking at you, but you could fit more people on a plane. Luckily, again, it's just a patent and no plans of actually doing it. But if you ever thought that airlines thought we were just human cattle, things like that make you think.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's why I thought an airline person looking at this picture is probably thinking, "Yeah, baby, that's what I'm gonna do." Yeah.
Make them stand.
Now,
Golly.
Now, this next story 10 here, I know electronic ink has been around for a while, and I haven't seen it take off as like I was hoping to see it. They've done some electronic ink digital watches. But but here's an interesting application. Evidently, this company called Sonder is making an e-ink computer keyboard that will reconfigure itself as needed. Now, this is very interesting. Tell us about this.
I agree. It is interesting, and it sounds like since you're familiar with e-ink more than I am, you could probably help explain some of this too, and explain why this is interesting. It caught my eye right away because of the idea of a keyboard that can reconfigure itself as needed. That's what got my attention immediately. This comes from Gizmag.com, story by Ben Coxworth, and you can see in the show notes here the images of the keyboard. Looks like a regular keyboard, but his story says it can get confusing trying to remember which keys are used for which shortcuts in which programs. That's why Australian startup Sounder Design, Sonder maybe, Sonder Design, developed the Sounder keyboard utilizing e-ink technology. All of its letter, number, and function keys can change appearance and function depending on the application being used. Sonder isn't the first e-ink keyboard we've seen. Jasta, that's Jaasta, another company, claims to be developing one, while Art Ledebev's, I can't even pronounce it.
Art Ledebev. They're Russian, but he makes some beautiful items. I actually got a clock from them that spells out the time in words, but they make some incredible things. And they're making they already have a keyboard.
If you haven't heard of them, you can't afford them.
Yes, exactly.
Well, see, I don't run around in that gold-plated iPhone crowd that Craig's into.
I know.
We're just out here in Oregon, just trying to hang on to what's left of the forests and the salmon. What can I say?
It's staying cool, yes, I understand.
But it talks about this fella's Optimus Popularis. I guess that's another keyboard. That's an e-ink keyboard. But he says, the article says that thing's $1,500 US. By contrast, Sonder, the guy we're talking about now, can currently be pre-ordered for $200 US, $199, with a planned retail price of $350, which is still considerably less than the $1,500 from the Russian competitor. And it says, as suggested by its designers, the Sounder could do things such as operating in Dvorak layout, displaying Chinese and other non-Phoenician characters, displaying game or program-specific icons, or allowing for the creation of custom macros. That's pretty cool. The keyboard is claimed to work with PCs, Macs, and all types of tablets and smartphones connecting via Bluetooth. As an added bonus, its keys also light up in the dark. I always like light up in the dark. It's never boring to me. Users will reportedly be able to store their custom layouts in the cloud, along with accessing an online library of layouts. That's cool. And functions made available by other users, so you can start sharing things, right? So see, Ben, you mentioned gamers. So say you're an avid gamer, player of X game or whatever the title is, and you could go to the cloud and find out keyboard shortcuts and so forth that are really working well for a fellow player, and maybe say, oh, I'll download that and try it out. So that's kind of cool. And then it says, before the device heads to large-scale production, however, Sounder Design is planning to launch a Kickstarter campaign later this year. So it's, you know, not here today, but it's a pretty cool concept, and I was not familiar with this e-ink sort of approach.
Well, e-ink is very interesting because it takes very minimal current to, unlike LEDs or something, and also the characters are not made of little steps. They're very smooth, contrast, and electronic ink has displays certainly have an advantage to them. But I was familiar with the Art LebDev keyboard. Sony was trying to come out with an e-ink watch. You know, it was like a little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the technology is here, and it's interesting that they would put it into a keyboard. If you look carefully at the keyboard, it really looks like an Apple keyboard.
Yeah, that certainly struck me too.
It looks like an Apple keyboard. But anyway, e-ink technology, and there you go. All right. So now getting back to, I know we talked about the story 7. We talked about Elon Musk's Hyperloop. But Ben seemed that he really wanted to do this story, so we'll go ahead and.
Oh, excuse me for wanting to do the life-changing story out of all of these. I'm sorry.
All right.
Always, every time I hear that, I always think of Steve Martin in the very, very old days. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah, story number 7. Here we go. This is from a publication called Transport Evolved, and of course about Elon Musk's Hyperloop becomes reality as agreements are secured for a 5-mile track in California. Now, what's kind of funny to me about this story, even before we get into it, if we're talking about the kind of speeds in theory the train could achieve, 5 miles would be, you know, start stop. It would just
pretty
be
much.
That's true.
You know, but I mean, you know, for proof of concept, it's still valuable. So the story says, back in August of 2013, Elon Musk introduced the world to the idea of the Hyperloop, a super fast, brand new type of mass transit for the 21st century. Unveiling his design in a preliminary technical paper called Hyperloop Alpha, Musk set out the idea for a transport system which used a series of partially evacuated elevated cylindrical tubes, large enough for a specially designed capsule to fit inside. Now, powered by solar panels set on top of the roof, that's pretty cool. The powered by solar panels set on top of the roof of the tube and set in motion by a linear electric motor set into the tube itself, the capsules would travel on a cushion of air at speeds of up to 800 miles per hour. He theorized. That's what I was joking about, 5 miles and 800 miles an hour. It's like,
if you're traveling you have a 5-mile track and you're traveling at 800 miles an hour. Ben, do the math. How fast would you traverse that 5 mile?
well, first you have to. How long does it take to get to 800 miles an hour, and can you even do that in a 5-mile span?
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's like, oh no, we only had 438 miles an hour. What do we do?
Oops. Maybe what they should do is make it like a circle. So you just get going and just.
Yeah. The world's largest centrifuge. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, the guys in Switzerland like it. Okay, it would be better, cheaper. The article goes on to say that Elon's premise would be better, cheaper solution than the $60 billion+ California high-speed rail project being planned between Los Angeles and San Francisco, which, by the way, is broken ground. But admitted that his endeavors at SpaceX and Tesla Motors meant that he would not have time to pursue this project personally. So, consequently, Musk invited academics and investors alike to take up the challenge for themselves to turn the Hyperloop into a reality. Now, as National Geographic reported, multiple companies now exist with the sole purpose of turning Musk's vision into a reality, and one of them is ready to build a 5-mile test track in California. So, here we go. Here's the company. Enter Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, HTT, a company formed by Jumpstarter Inc. CEO Dirk Ulbern, I guess is how it's pronounced, to specifically turn Elon Musk's idea into a reality. HTT says it has secured the necessary agreements needed to break ground on a 5-mile test track near the town of Quay Valley, California, located along Interstate 5, which of course is the huge main freeway up the spine of California. So located along Interstate 5, construction on HTT's track should be finished by 2017, with the 5-mile stretch ready to accept passengers by 2018. You know, it'll almost have to be like an amusement ride because, you know, going 5 miles is obviously not very useful. Ultimately, HTT and its various rivals are aiming for a future where Hyperloop terminals link large parts of the United States together along Hyperloop corridors, allowing people to travel between major cities as easy as they can fly on an. And what's so funny, if you look at the show notes, this is obviously not an American writing this, aeroplane, A-E-R-O-P-L-A-N-E. And Ben, that's how, when I was a little guy, that airplane was spelled more that way than not. It's one of those wonderful old antique things. One day, Hyperloop technology may even join different continents, crossing the Pacific or the Atlantic Ocean as easily as someone may travel from California to New York. Now, I got a question for you guys. Look at the image there. You're inside this tube, right? And you're in this cylindrical, you know, encapsulated thing that's going to hover over a cushion of air, yuggity yuggity. No windows, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of freaky weird, wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be kind of, God help you if you're claustrophobic.
Well, maybe they would put some sort of windows in it. Maybe this is
I don't know. What would you look at? You're inside a tube.
Or maybe even just having windows would be detrimental to riding this thing, because if you're going that fast, you know, when you're on an airplane up in the air going 800 miles an hour, you look down, you don't look like you're going that fast. But maybe if you're like on the ground, zooming past trees at 800 miles an hour,
it'd make you sick.
You know, maybe you start freaking out a little bit.
Yeah. So maybe what they'll have to do is have a whole inside of it, beautiful, serene, like nature scenes or something like that, and nice sounds and so forth to kind of make you, or just put the passengers to sleep. I like that idea, you know. Say, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. Take a deep breath in the oxygen mask, which has been deployed for your comfort and safety. Nighty night. We'll see you in New York. Bye. You know, wouldn't that be cool?
I actually went to their website. It's hyperlooptech.com, and they actually have like a little model here where they're showing that they can actually carry cargo, like the cargo loop, stuff like that. Anyone out there looking for a job, they're hiring. So they're hiring every kind of engineer that you can imagine.
How cool is that?
So, you know, there
you go.
Hey, you know, there's jobs out there, but you know, if this does come to be a reality, this thing is like really very, very, like, it's not just hop on an airplane. This is like hopping on a train and then finding yourself in, you know, in 2 hours across the country. It's very, very cool. Like commuting, imagine living somewhere an hour away, commuting about 1,000 miles and working and going home the same way. It's very, very cool.
But what about stops? I mean, you know, is it going to be a non-stop thing? You have to go from one end of the country, or
Well, you know, the article made it seem like to me that these would be corridors. So like the stops, you would have a continuous Hyperloop going from, let's say, L.A. and Seattle, or you know, Dallas and New York. Like you would just have like one ways that would just go back and forth.
Got it. All right.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff, and it's, you know, we'll see. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's fun, and it'll be fun to see if in 2017 if they pull off this test track, and if it looks good, we'll see.
All right. I don't know if we could really go to another story here. We could probably start with, this is a really short one. Let's go to story 11. Drones are always in the news, and
Right.
evidently there's a big news outlets are researching drones at Virginia Tech.
Right.
CNN evidently is getting involved with this, right?
Yeah, right. So we'll make this quick because we're running out of time. But Engadget, a story by Billy Steele, and it's kind of interesting. CNN already announced its intent to make drones part of its news coverage, so that's no surprise. It's not the only media outlet looking to leverage drones, right? Though, as a group of 15 other companies are partnering with Virginia Tech to conduct trials of their own. So the university's facility in Bealton, Virginia, is one of the FAA's approved test sites outside of Washington, D.C. The group of media companies includes Associated Press, Getty Images, Reuters, the New York Times, Washington Post, Gannett, NBC Universal, Univision, and others, right? So the gist of this is that all of these major news gathering outfits, folks, are really paying attention to drones now, and the Virginia Tech, very much to their credit and luck, is the go-to educational institution in this United States for a lot of these media heavyweights to go and get help.
Yeah.
So instead of sending, like, let's say a reporter with with the camera guy in tow, they would just send out a drone, I guess, is what they're hoping for.
And not only that, Ben, if you can make drones long range enough and so forth, or certainly in situations, say you're covering a fire, and you're not going to risk your human camera person and reporter, but you could fly a drone, or it's a hybrid situation. You may have this live reporter on site with a cameraman, but also augment with the drone.
Or
could really jack up coverage.
Or completely replace the cameraman and just have the drone with the reporter there. I mean, these things, they can't hover.
Yeah, no, that's true. And again, in the spirit of people, real humans losing their jobs, yeah, that's kind of sad, but okay. How many times, I don't know how many times you guys have been in a modern TV studio. The first time, I don't know how many years ago it was, that I was in a studio where all of a sudden all the cameras in the newsroom were robotic. There was one person in the back of the room with a joystick, I kid you not, moving camera to, and would just move in place, and the chyron, the prompter reader would come up, and the talent would do their thing, and then move away. When I first started in television many years ago for Intel, you always had cameramen behind each camera.
Yep, I remember that.
Or camera women, and the director would be talking to them in an earpiece. I should move over to this position, Joe, and get ready to do a tight shot on Joe, and blah, blah. All gone. All robotics, all done by one technician, replacing 4 or 5 camera people.
All right, we've got some other really interesting stories. Maybe 13 tech jobs that pay at least $130,000 across the country. The creation of the modern laptop. Look back, kind of nostalgic look back, and a new computer monitor, and also a piece of software that lets you it finds empty folders on your computer. Have our social media winner coming up too. We'll be right back.
I need a favor. You may not have anything to do with launching new products or new services at the company you work for or the companies you work with. So just in case the people there who are in charge of that aren't listening to Computer America tonight, please tell them about Bell Ringers. It starts August 31st as an hour-long Monday through Friday nationwide radio show on so many stations that more than 50 million people will be able to tune it in. 4 times each hour, a team of 3 takes the time to fully describe and explain something that's never been announced before, making it newer than news. And that same day, they send releases over 3 wires to traditional online and social media. Get full coverage on Slash Gear and more. Please, just ask those marketing guys to take a look at bellringersmedia.com. That's BELLRINGERSMEDIA.com, bellringersmedia.com. But hurry, September segments are booking now. Thanks.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Old school? Never graduated. Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the Jasco Heavy Duty Timer. When's the last time you used a timer? Maybe have one so a lamp can make it look like somebody's at home when you're really away, but other than that, the thought rarely comes up. It did occur to us, though, when we reviewed a plug-in 1.5-gallon hot water heater that could fit under one faraway sink and have hot water ready there in 8 minutes from a cold start. Like most hot water tanks, the 12-amp heater inside gets automatically turned on and off by a thermostat that keeps track of the water temperature. But that got us to thinking that reheating really isn't necessary when we're away from that space, and we still do sleep nights. We asked Jasco to send their heavy-duty timer for review. It's a 15-amp control with a grounded AC outlet in its body and a short cord to plug it into the wall. A circular dial under a flip-up cap, and we should mention that it's outdoor rated, though we don't need that for our use. That circular dial lets you set it to the current time, also lets you set on and off times in 15-minute increments by sliding small sliders out or in, and a red slider selects timed or manual on and off. It's quiet. You have to hold it up to your ear to hear the geared clock motor inside. Bottom line, the Jasco heavy-duty 24-hour timer lets you set high-power things to run only when you need them to run to help your electric meter do a little less running. Marty Winston for News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour in the last half hour of the last show of the week. And you know, when all those things happen, we get the privilege, the privilege to give away a prize from our good friends over at Logitech.
Absolutely, and what a prize it is. It is the Logitech
MX Anywhere 2 mouse.
Wireless mouse, exactly. And I mean, when you go to the Logitech website, we have the link at our website at computeramerica.com. I mean, this mouse has 3 buttons on the bottom of it, on the underneath portion, that you can control 3 different things. You know, you can take the mouse with you. You do a different device. You don't have to resync it up. Everything, it memorizes all the different configurations. It's just a very cool mouse. Has all the Logitech scroll wheel that allows you to breeze through pages immediately, or you can go to a ratchet mode. There were more standard ways. Anyway, it's a gorgeous mouse, left or right-handed. It works both ways, and we're giving one away tonight, right now. So, Ralph, you get ready for that digital drums. I know you like to play them. And our winner tonight is Selena Nil.
Selena Nil?
Selena Nil. Okay.
All right.
Congratulations, you've won the Logitech MX Anywhere 2 wireless mouse. This wireless travel mouse performs anywhere you need it to. Glass tables in your hotel room, shiny laminate tops, train and airplane tray tables, even the jeans, thanks to its dark field technology. Pair it up to 3 computers and switch between them with the touch of a button, thanks to its easy switch technology. Compact enough to take with you anywhere, this wireless mobile mouse is designed to help you make things happen anywhere. At home, at work, or on the go. It's valued at $80, and Selena Nil, that's N-H-I-L, Nil, congratulations, you are our winner this week, our social media winner this week. And again, I remind you to go to computeramerica.com and enter in our social media contest just by going to any of our social media sites. Each one you go, racks up an entry each week. And the more that you do, the more entries you get each week. So do it. Why not? It's a lot of fun. Who knows? You might win something really, really nice. Okay, we continue on with Ralph Bond. We're doing these different items that Ralph finds for us. Again, you can download the cheat notes and see for yourself some of these items. I want to talk about this one here. This very last one. It's the Story 20. It's simple, it's easy, but I think it's kind of cool. As you know, a lot of us have a lot of empty folders that we forget about. You know, we created them for one reason or another, and we empty and they just take up room, and then there's nothing in them. It's like all these empty folders. Wouldn't it be nice to have a way of cleaning those up? You know, getting rid of them.
If you are one of those people that loses sleep at night thinking of all the empty electronic folders on your computer, man, there is a program for everyone.
Yes, there is.
There is.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So this is from a online outfit, Beta News, story by Mike Williams. And again, as Craig was saying, the title is Clean Up Your PC with Empty Folder Finder. Hey, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, in the end of the day, it's not really terrible to have these, you know, folders with no name or whatever. That you accidentally create them and you're just too lazy to go and deal with it. But, you know, it'd be kind of nice. I don't know. I guess part of it for me, guys, is I like to see a utility do something. It's like those registry checkers, that like CC Cleaner or something.
Yeah.
Go out and find all kinds of little barnacles and things. And just, you know, maybe life could go on if you let that stuff stay. But it's just, there's some kind of an emotional cleansing. It's like exfoliating your computer. I don't know. You know, I get where you're coming from, Ben, but there's something to be said about this kind of dusting, as it were.
Yeah.
So, Empty Folder Finder is a tiny, portable freebie which lists empty folders on your PC, then optionally allows you to delete anything you don't need, so you have control. There are plenty of similar tools around, but what's interesting about this one is you can also have it list nearly empty folders. That's the part I thought was kind of cool. Anything with just a few small files. So I bet you, I know I probably have a ton of these little folders I created as kind of like a makeshift temporary little pocket that I put something in and I've forgotten completely about it, right, and I really don't need it. You could set up the program to include folders with a maximum of 2 files, perhaps, and a total size of 1 megabyte or less. Uninstallers, for example, often leave folders with 1 or 2 surplus files. So, got like a .log or a .ini, and these extra filters mean you'll find some of those too. Whatever you're doing, the final report lists empty and nearly empty folders in a table, along with their total number of files, if any, and total size. And you can sort the table by any field, delete the currently selected folders with a click, or open one in Explorer for further investigation. And it concludes, he says, still, Empty Folder Finder is small, simple, and no strings free, and its ability to find nearly empty folders makes it more useful than many similar tools. And take a look, and we've got the link there for you. I thought it was a cute little program, and, again, as a freebie, and I liked the control factor, and I like the fact that it would look for nearly empty folders as well. And I thought it was just a cute little app.
Well, that's what attracted me to it too, because finding empty folders is one thing, but so many times you'll have a folder and you have 3 items and you're not aware of it, that you can actually consolidate it, and some of the folders and get rid of them. And the fact that you can set this to find nearly empty folders, I think just makes it a more useful tool.
Yeah, you should check it out, Craig. And as I recall, I think on your website you have a zone for free software, right?
Oh, man, that's a great idea. We should put that. We should put this.
Check it out. Well, check it out for yourselves, guys. See what you think. I thought it did a good job, and maybe that could be a nice thing for the listeners to have.
We'll add that to the cleanup. That's actually very good. We haven't added a new piece of software in there for a while. And we should add that in there.
Cool.
I'll have to do that. Okay, terrific. Okay, so we're continuing to do stories that Ralph finds for us, and then this next story here is the story 13, the creation of the modern laptop.
Now you can see Ben is scrolling, and I'm scrolling because we're going, where do you think Craig's going to go? I wonder where
we don't know. He's all over the road.
Now we're synchronized.
Yeah.
Make him run, make him run. Let's like make Ralph do that drum roll thing, you know. Like, we're gonna make him run up and down. Okay, guys, here we go. I thought this was a terrific little story. Ars Technica, folks, is a really interesting web outlet, news and stories and so forth. This is a feature asked in Anthony and the creation of the modern laptop, and oh my gosh, what a romp through memory lane this was for me.
Yeah.
And Craig, I know you share that feeling too. Ben, you're way too young, but we hope that you can historically appreciate some of the suffering, the pain and suffering that Craig and I went
Look how bad it was back then. Oh my God.
Anyway, okay. So, by the way, that photograph there,
Yeah.
I still have my K-Pro.
You have your K-Pro.
Just like it. And I also have a Toshiba T1000, the first, what most historians consider true laptop in my collection. But anyway, the world's first commercial laptop, though that is certainly stretching the term, was an Osborne 1.
Hey, you know, I have to review. I remember seeing an Apple commercial where they had a Lisa computer, and the guy tucked it under his arm, and it was carrying along this behemoth. You know, people wanted to port it. Now, of course, technically, I think we call these transportables.
Transportable, or the joke was luggables.
Yeah,
Remember luggables.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, talks about the first commercial laptop. Well, yeah, I know what the Osbornes were like. Though that is certainly stretching the term, was the Osborne 1. When released in 1981, it cost $1,795 in 1981 dollars, folks. Maybe there's somebody's got an online calculator that could tell me what that is now in today's dollars. It weighed 23.5 pounds and ran an operating system, CPM, of course. I vividly remember that. And by the way, friends, hard drive? Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no. Floppy? Yes.
Floppy disk, yeah.
Tiny screen, teeny-beeny screen. Monochrome, of course. Blah, blah, blah. Then it goes on to say, in 1983, Compaq Portable, which ran MS-DOS, was even larger, 13 kilograms, and let's see, that would be about 30-something pounds, almost 30 pounds, I guess. Anyway, it cost $3,590. Oh, my. Neither had a battery, though an aftermarket battery for the Osborne 1 lasted 1 hour. Now, the K-Pro that I show is part of that
Wait,
too.
Wait, Ben, what did you want to say?
The $1,800 one, the Osborne 1?
Yeah.
$1,800 is $5,000 in today's money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, remember this, wasn't the IBM PC the first model in August of 1983? I think the first model was over $3,000 US in 1983.
And you remember,
I think
they got Charlie Chaplin to
Yeah, that was pretty bold. Anyway, so it says, at the time, neither of these computers was actually called a laptop. They were portables that, in a pinch, could be lugged around. Famously, the Osborne 1 was advertised as being the first computer to fit under an airplane seat. Yeah, if you rammed it in there. I had a K-Pro, the picture that I show in the show notes. Still have it, as I said before, and it was transformative. First of all, word processing was absolutely astonishingly mind-blowing. I walked into the advertising press relations agency that I was working for after being a tech writer for several years, and I walked in and said, enough of this typewriter stuff and pieces of paper and scritching and scratching and giving that over to a secretary who had a big Wang word processing. And, no, I'm doing it for myself. I bought that thing on my own. It cost me I don't know, like $2,000 or something like that. Never turned back. Never went back. It was life transforming. But to finish the story here, both the Osborne 1 and the Compaq Portable were massively successful, raking in millions of dollars from users who realized that portable computing was about to alter the fabric of society and its ways of doing business forever. Amen. We've come a long way since then.
Yeah, we have.
Pick up your laptop. Actually scratch that. Read this paragraph first, then pick up your laptop. You are holding one of the most advanced machines ever built in the history of humanity. It is the result of trillions of hours of R&D over tens of thousands of man years or people years. Let's be fair. It contains so many advanced components that there isn't a single person on the planet who knows how to make the entire thing from scratch. That's kind of fun.
That is interesting. I mean, if we had some world global calamity of some sort, there was no one person how to put everything together.
Yeah.
It would be a mess. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you think about look at something like the Microsoft Surface Pro or something. And these are just like miracles. You talk about what would my father have thought if he were still alive, and my grandfather and so forth. They would be just speechless if you took them into Best Buy and put a Microsoft Surface Pro in their hands. And I'm not favoring Microsoft over anybody. I'll put an Apple. I don't care, whatever it is, a Samsung tablet. They would just. It would be science fiction spooky for them, I'm sure. It would just blow their mind. But the article concludes, it says, it is perhaps surprising to think of your laptop as the pinnacle of human endeavor. But that doesn't make it any less true. We are living in the information age, after all, and our tool for working with that information is the computer. And, of course, today that can be a tablet, can be your smartphone, can be your laptop, whatever.
Your smartphone. This is the result of, again, trillions of hours of R&D over tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it contains so many advanced components that there isn't a single person on the planet who knows how to build it. I mean, go out and ask somebody to make you an iPhone. I mean, it's going to happen. It's
no, you're right. And it plays well to those apocalyptic sci-fi films that we all dearly love, because if we did lose it all, you can't go to Joe the boat builder and hey, I need an iPhone, pal. It's just not going to happen.
No, it isn't.
There's a theory out there somewhere that for human evolution to get to this point with the way that we use resources, like humans used all of the easily accessible, easy to get to, rare minerals, rare earths, fossil fuels, all that kind of thing. Like they've already used that. So if we wiped the board clean and people had to start all over again, we probably couldn't get to this level of technology again, like on Earth, because we've pretty much used all the easily accessible, resources.
Yeah. It'd be very difficult to start over.
Right.
But luckily, we don't have to.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Not today.
Except in Mad Max, which is a great movie.
I gotta see that. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Again, we're doing these stories that Ralph finds for us. Now, I don't know if we did this one. Did we do that 3D printed DNA lamp on one of our shows, or no? We didn't do it. No. Okay. Well, that's story 18 then.
Not on any show that I did.
Start scrolling, Ben. Here we go.
This is kidding. Okay.
I'm kidding you. Okay, here we go. Yeah. This is just kind of fun, kind of interesting, and this takes it into kind of the maker movement level. It comes from 3dprint.com, by the way, which is a great website. If you're interested in 3D printing, it's a must-visit site. The title is, "This 3D printed DNA lamp is incredibly mesmerizing to stare at." You know where mesmerizing comes from? It was Dr. Mesmer. Wasn't he like a hypnotist or something? Wasn't that it, Craig? For some reason, it just came back into my mind. So there was a Mr. Mesmer, and to be mesmerized was to be, under his influence.
Well,
there's your little
surprised by the video that Ben is playing. Yeah, exactly.
Useless trivia. Anywho, story says here, for one electrical and electronics engineer from Algarve, Portugal, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, named João Duarte. Anyway, this fellow from Portugal, 3D printing allowed him to create an amazing 3D printed lamp for just $30. That's kind of cool. The lamp, which Duarte calls the DNA lamp, is one of those devices that can keep you mesmerized for hours. And they quote him. It says, "I actually was browsing online for 3D objects to test my 3D printer when I found some DNA strands," Duarte told 3dprint.com. "They looked so cool, so I tried viewing them from several angles, and I noticed it created an amazing and hypnotizing upwards and downwards effect when I rotated the piece. I thought, wow, this might be cool to do something that would take advantage of this weird effect. So I thought about designing a lamp." And Ben, thanks for playing the video, because that really brings it to life. People can see what's going on here. Duarte, who admittedly doesn't have very much 3D design knowledge, was able to design the entire idea in just a few hours using Tinkercad. Shameless plug for Autodesk. That's a free software package from us. Tinkercad, check it out, folks. A software from Autodesk, which he says was very easy to use. Hey, maybe you should talk about Tinkercad on your free software site too. I'm pretty sure it's free. I think that's a free one. Anyway, He started by designing the general look of the lamp before moving forward with 3D printing the components. It took approximately 14 hours to print out all the required parts at an average print resolution. In the end, it cost less than $30 for Duarte to create this magnificent and unique lamp. Now he wants to share the details on how anyone can access, how anyone with access to a 3D printer can do the same for themselves. And he's put the information on Instructables.com. The link is there in the show notes. Check it out if you're interested in maybe creating one for yourself. So I love the maker movement stuff. I love the individuals. Here's a guy who didn't have much experience and gets an idea and he's able to realize it, and you can see in the video he creates this very compelling and fun kind of lamp.
Yeah. Now, we only have a short time more, and I do want to talk about this. We were talking about drones, and the sharks have been in the news. Florida.
Sharknado.
During 19, Ben. The thing is, there have been a lot of shark attacks. And this actually made CBS News, where a California lifeguard gets a drone and is instantly able to spot 10 to 12 great white sharks in the water with it.
Oh, yeah. We were talking earlier tonight about news agencies using drones for on-the-site reporting and so forth. Well, of course, drones, everybody's beginning to realize the amazing utility of these things. This comes from indefinitelywild.gizmodo.com. This is a new activity for Gizmodo, indefinitelywild.gizmodo.com. Really fun. Check it out. Story by Wes Seiler. And again, as you were saying, California lifeguards get drone and instantly spot 10 to 12 great white sharks. So here we go. Orange County, Seal Beach, that's Orange County, Southern California. Seal Beach is a popular spot for swimmers and surfers. So its lifeguards figured they'd use a camera drone to keep a better eye on the humans. That was the original intent. But what they saw instead was 10 to 12 great white sharks just feet from the shore. Yikes. But the lifeguards didn't believe the sharks pose a significant risk. They plan to use the drone to monitor sharks for aggressive behavior, but it will keep the beach open while they do. So this gives them another management tool, right? They can kind of keep an eye on the critters, and if they detect anything that looks like aggressive behavior, then of course they can alert the swimmers and surfers and get them out of the water. Great whites aren't new to Southern California waters. They're frequently spotted by surfers, fishermen, and are even occasionally seen leaping out of the water. Despite their presence, they don't pose much of a risk to people, unlike the film Jaws would have you think. No fatal shark attacks have ever occurred on an Orange County beach. I checked that. I mean, I hope that's true. And then Indefinitely Wild is a new publication about adventure travel in the outdoors, the vehicles and gear that get us there, and the people we meet along the way. That's a little tag from the folks at Gizmodo. And check it out. It's a fun site.
Well, because, again, I've seen several news stories this past week of several people who were viciously attacked by sharks. And so maybe this is something in California they might adopt it, into the Florida area where they have
Yeah, I grew up in San Clemente, California, which is the southernmost town in Orange County, Southern California, just before you get to Camp Pendleton. And in Camp Pendleton, just on the border with the civilian territory, is a place called Trestles, and Trestles is a very famous surfing spot. Sounds like you're familiar with it, Ben. And I seem to remember as a kid, of course, I guess technically that wouldn't be Orange County Beach because the story said no one's ever been killed by a shark, but I think I remember a couple of cases where surfers were either badly hurt or possibly killed by sharks at Trestles. So I don't know, but a great use of drones and a wonderful thing now. Give the lifeguards a new management tool. It's pretty cool.
Well, as usual, we didn't get time to all the stories. There was the one about self-healing concrete that you also have something called thermal bridging, photovoltaic glazing on windows that produce electricity. Some of the stories we didn't get a chance to do. The 13 tech jobs that pay at least $130,000 across the country. But you know what? You can read all of these. We have them on the show notes. Just click the cheat notes link, and it'll take you to even a cars with air conditioning for your phone.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Hey, it's probably more important to keep that phone happy than your kids.
This is very, very true. And you can read them all. Ralph, what's going on with you, and what are you doing now with Autodesk? Anything you want to let
Well, gosh, yeah, as I was saying, I was in San Francisco this past week at the home office hearing all these amazing presentations. And computer-aided design software, as some of the tonight's stories indicate, companies like Autodesk and others in the field are moving into the biological thing. The whole idea of computer aid design for synthetic viruses and synthetic bacteria and so forth is I just listened to these presentations and my mouth was just hanging open. The implications of all of this are profound, hopefully in the right and sane hands for good, for healthcare and other exciting things of this nature, and so on. But that was struck me really as very important. And hey, by the way, calling out a few more stories from tonight's show notes that you might want to go back and check out. I love story 16 about the on-the-body design method for 3D printed wearables. This is really something. If you have the show notes, you can see it talks about this whole movement now of doing 3D printing to create your own customized jewelry and so forth, which is a really fun example of 3D printing at the maker movement level going on. And oh gosh, yeah, going back to San Francisco on my trip to Autodesk, we have come out to Autodesk.com or search Pier 9 in the Embarcadero, San Francisco. Autodesk has this amazing kind of maker movement 3D printing. I wouldn't call it a lab because that's not the right word. I struggle to find the right words. Please come out and take a look at that. Look at some of the amazing work that's being done there in San Francisco. That's really forecasting where we're going with 3D printing.
All right. Well, again, Ralph, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight on the show, and please stay with us to the end. Ralph Bond again will be in, and Ralph will be with us next month. I guess the same time, same channel, and he's always the second. It's the second Friday of the month, so that means we'll see Ralph again on the 14th of August. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up on Monday night, we're going to have independent security evaluators. Evidently, Ted Harrington is the gentleman we're going to be having on with us.
90 seconds.
He is an executive partner there. We're going to be talking about security and what you can do.
What a broad term.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to talk a little about the Internet of Things Village, the IoT Village. It's actually going to be very interesting, and he's going to be joining us for the first hour. And then the second hour, Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. So again, thanks to all of you for being with us, being here with us tonight. Hey, have a great weekend. Do something. Catch one of the new movies that we're talking about. And just have a great weekend. And Ben and I will be here, same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll be here with the independent security evaluators, and again, computer news by Slimware Utilities. So that about wraps it up. Thanks again for being here, and Ben and I will see you on Monday night. So until Monday night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you on Monday night.
Good night, everyone.
10 seconds.
Good night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, again, thanks everybody for being here with us. Thanks again, Ralph. And,
Hey, my pleasure.
All right, and we'll see you next month, and we'll see you all Monday night. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.